Good day everyone, I am Iran Lucas. I'm going to tackle the validity and reliability. 6.2 Validation. After performing the item analysis and revising the item which needs revision, the next step is to validate the instrument. The purpose of validation is to determine the characteristic of the whole test itself, namely the validity and reliability of the test. Validation is the process of collecting and analyzing evidence to support the meaningfulness and usefulness of the test. Validity. Validity is the extent to which test measures what it purports to measure or as referring to the appropriateness, correctness, meaningfulness, and usefulness of specific decisions a teacher makes based on the test result. These two definitions of validity differ in the sense that the first definition refers to the test itself, while the second refers to the decision made by the teacher based on the test. The test is valid when it's aligned to the learning outcomes. A teacher who conducts test validation might want to gather different kinds of evidence. There are essentially three main types of evidence that may be collected. First, the content-related evidence of validity. Second, criterion-related evidence of validity. The third one is construct-related evidence of validity. Content-related evidence of validity. It refers to the content and format of the instrument. How appropriate is the content? How comprehensive? That it logically get the intended variable? How adequately does a sample of items or question represent the content to be assessed? Next one is criterion-related evidence of validity. It refers to the allure relationship between scores obtained using the instrument and score obtained using one or more tests, are often called criteria. How strong is this relationship? How will you do such score estimate represent or predict future performance of certain type? The last one is construct-related evidence of validity. It refers to the nature of psychological construct of characteristics being measured by the test. How will you thus a measure of construct explain differences in the behavior of the individuals of their performance on the certain task? The usual procedure for determining content validity may be described as follows. The teacher writes out the objective of the test based on a table of specification and then give this together with the test to at least two experts along with description of intended test takers. The expert look at the objective, read over the items in the test and place a check mark on the front of each question or item that they feel does not measure one or more objectives. They also place a check mark in the front of each objective if not assessed by any items in the test. The teacher then rewrites any items so check and resubmit to the expert and writes new items to cover those objectives not hereto covered by the existing test. This continues until the expert approve all the items and also until the expert agree that all of the objectives are sufficiently covered by the test. In order to obtain evidence of criterion-related validity, the teacher usually compares scores on the task and question with the scores on some other independent criterion test which presumably has already high validity. For example, if a test is designed to measure mathematics ability of students and it correlates highly standardized mathematics achievement test or the external criterion, then we say we have the high criterion-related evidence of validity. In particular, this type of criterion-related validity is called its concurrent validity. Another type of criterion-related validity is called predictive validity, wherein the test scores in the instrument are currently added with scores on the later performance or the criterion measure of the students. For example, the mathematics ability test construct by the teacher may be correlated with earlier performance in division-wide mathematics achievement test. Apart from the use of correlation coefficient in measuring criterion-related validity, Grundland suggests using the so-called expectancy table. This table is easy to construct and consists of test predictor categories listed on the left-hand side and criterion categories listed horizontal along to the top of the chart. For example, suppose a mathematics achievement test is constructed in scores or categorized with high, average, low. The criterion measures used as final average grades of students in high school: very good, good, and needs improvement. The two variables table lists down on the number of students falling under each of the possible pairs of test or grade as shown in the table. And this is the table we are referring to. The explanation for the table: the expectancy table shows there were 20 students getting high test scores and subsequently rated excellent in the terms of final grades. 25 students got average scores and subsequently rated as good in their finals. And finally, 14 students obtained low test scores and were later graded as needing improvement. The evidence for the particular test tends to indicate that students getting high scores on it would be graded excellent, average scores on it would be graded good later, and the students getting low scores on the test would be graded as needing improvement. Later, we will not able to discuss the measurement of construct related of validity in this book since the method to be used to require sophisticated statistical techniques fail in the category of factor analysis. 6.3 Reliability. Reliability refers to the consistency the source obtained, how consistent they are for each individual from one administration of an instrument to another, and from one set of items to another. We already gave formula for computing the reliability of the test for internal consistency. For instance, we could use the split half method or the Kandler-Richardson formula. Reliability and validity are related concepts. If an instrument is unreliable, it cannot yet valid outcomes. As reliability improves, validity may improve or it may not. However, if an instrument is shown scientifically to be valid, then it is almost certain that it is also reliable. The following table is standard followed almost universally on educational tests and measurement. For the reliability of 0.90 and above, or the interpretation of excellent reliability at the level of the best standardized test. Reliability of 0.80 to 0.90 is very good for classroom tests. For reliability 0.60 to 0.70, the interpretation would be somewhat low. This test needs to supplemented by other measurement. For example, is more test. To determine grades, there are probably some items which could not be improved. For reliability of 0.50 to 0.60 suggests needs for revision of test, unless it is quite short, 10 or few items. This definitely needs to be supplemented by other measures. For example, more tests for grading. For the reliability of 0.50 and below, it is interpreted as questionable reliability. These tests show not contribute heavily to the course grade and its need revision. That is the end of our report. Thank you.